Namaste. I think I am audible. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
brother, no problem.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the kind words. Because as far as I am concerned, it is, as Chariji Maharaj would say, it is a big mansion. And every center of the mission is a room. Therefore, Sri Ramchandra mission or heartfulness, Sahajamar system of Raja Yoga is a big mansion where all of us are living in different rooms, following different cultures, language, practices and all that. But yet, just like a person holding the umbrella, and so many people are there below the umbrella, we are all under his tutelage, under his care, under his affection, under his protection. So it is just like sharing our views in our homes. But yet, some of our functionaries, especially the late C.A.P. Durai, I think most of you know about him. He held the topmost position in police department. He used to always like to be introduced properly. But we are all, very informal. But he said that the outer world should know that we have such people of eminence in our mission. So he was very careful enough that whenever he introduced some people or when he was asked to speak, the person who introduces him should know some biographical sketches of the person. But anyway, I am not such a person. And personally, from my heart, I feel, there is nothing that we can achieve in the life, whatever degrees or whatever positions that I hold. I can't talk for others. I owe it entirely to one person, and that is Ravi Chariji Maharaj. So I had the privilege of moving closely or associating myself closely with Ravi Chariji Maharaj from 1981. Revered Babuji Maharaj came to Chennai from Malaysia in 1981 and he stayed in Besant Nagar near the beach. And my sister's husband and family, they were all Abhyasis of the mission from that time onwards, from the 70s. And I was a student, so my sister's husband used to tell me about our Babuji Maharaj and the philosophy behind the practice. And of course, I was reading Sanskrit and I was a student of Vivekananda College in Chennai. So I was attracted by the teachings of Swamiji, Swami Vivekananda. And I was curious to see Babuji Maharaj. When so many people from the same family come and stayed in our house without any notice about midnight. And the next morning they all left to Besant Nagar. So I also went there just to see what was going on. And then I saw Babuji Maharaj sitting on the dais from a long distance. There was no place to stand or sit. So I was hanging on the window. Just I looked at him. Something attracted me immediately towards him. And then Babuji Maharaj, I don't know how many of you have seen, his favorite position was he used to do like this. And he was looking at somewhere, And then I thought, being a student of or person who is interested in yoga, I just thought, if he is really a yogi, Raja Yogi of caliber, he should look at me. Then Babuji Maharaj just turned his head like this and stared at me. I could even now feel the piercing eyes of that wonderful personality, the greatest personality the earth has ever seen. And I thought, oh, it's only a coincidence. Then after a few minutes, I again put the same thought, and Babuji Maharaj again turned his head and just looked at me with his piercing eyes. I mean, I mean, standing in a long distance, hanging in a window. And third time again I tried. Again Babuji Maharaj repeated it. Then I jumped down. You know, I thought it was silly of me to have tested such a great personality. Then from that distance, I just worshipped him or saluted him with folded hands. Tears came from my eyes, rolled down from my eyes. And then after some time, I left the place. This incident I narrated in 1985, say after 4 or 5 years, to a young couple of Abhyasis from Brazil. Still, now they are Abhyasis, they are preceptors. And these people, this husband and wife, they repeated this to Chariji Maharaj in Gayatri. So in the evening, when I came to Gayatri for satsang, they told me that they narrated this to Chariji Maharaj. And then they said, you know what Master said? I said, please tell me. He said, I hope Kannan does not play such tricks with me. So that was my first encounter or experience with Babuji Maharaj. Of course, I had a close relationship with Chariji Maharaj, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. I can't prevent tears rolling from my eyes whenever I speak of the great master. The greatest fortune that I had in my life is to be associated with Revered Chariji Maharaj. And of course, Mami, his wife Sulochana, who was still is more than my mother. They showered their affection and love on this young boy, without any reservation whatsoever. And I used to ask him so many questions in my young days, and he was so affectionate and patient enough to listen to them and answer them. And when I was writing my final year MA examination, and then I wanted to pursue my research in yoga. Then I told Revered Chariji Maharaj, he was the General Secretary at that time of our mission. Then he said, you please write to Babuji Maharaj. And when my marks came also, I first ran to Gayatri and showed him that I got first rank in the university. And he was so happy. I fell at his feet. He called Mommy. And I think most of you know how you used to call Mommy. He will never call her by name like moderners do. He will just whistle like this. Like this. But she was always alert. She would be immediately rushed to him. So in the hall in Gayatri, called Mami. He said, look at our boy. He has got such a wonderful, mark in his MA. Both of them blessed me. But like a true father, he asked me, in one subject, I didn't get the, so high mark. He asked me, why in this subject you have got less marks? Then I told him, sir, it was corrected by some other professor who does not like our professor. So he just laughed. It was just like a small child, telling Oh, teacher did not give me marks like that. And then he asked me to write to Babuji Maharaj. So he was always, as a preceptor, he was outstanding. He used to say, the preceptor, a good preceptor is he who should transmit according to the need of the Adhyasis. So he has cited this example when he went to Tirupati to take sittings, periodical sittings from Dr. K.C.V. Vardachari. Once they were in hot summer, so once when they reached, he was perspiring. It was so hard. But Dr. Vardachari asked him to sit in meditation. And in the meditation, he found that the entire, external atmosphere was hot, humid, but internally he felt so cold. So that was, of course, he was working from water point. So Chariji Maharaj used to say, a good preceptor should transmit according to the need of the abhyasis. Sometimes abhyasis come to us with all their problems. We have to listen to them patiently and then transmit in such a way that they feel better. So it is no use hurting the person's sentiments. I learned so many things like this, small things from Chariji Maharaj. And then when I asked him that I wanted to do PhD in Sahajamarg and asked him to guide, he told me, Kannan, I am not a scholar, I am not a professor, I am not an academic person. Remember, we have got only one guide, and that is Babuji Maharaj. You write to him. So I wrote to Babuji Maharaj. Unfortunately, Babuji Maharaj was not well at that time. So I got a letter from somebody else on the advice of Babuji Maharaj. I showed it to Chariji Maharaj. And then he said, I am going to Shahjahanpur. So you write a letter to me to Babuji's address. One to Babuji Maharaj, one to me. And then I will read your letter to Babuji Maharaj. I will tell him about you. And then I sent two letters, one to Babuji Maharaj himself and one to Chariji Maharaj. But the letters perhaps arrived at Babuji's house late, because before that Chariji Maharaj came to Chennai and he told me, Kannan, I received your letter just now, redirected from Shahjahan. And
Audio test.
I think he's got muted.
Audio check.
Brother Kannan, can you hear us?
Brother Kannan. Brother
Brother
Kannan.
Kannan, can you hear us?
Brother Kannan. We lost you. Brother Kannan. Brother Kannan. Brother Kannan.
sir, I am not interested in Hatha Yoga. And then he said, if you want to talk or if you want to write on Sahajamarg philosophy, you will not be able to find, guide a professor who has done research in this subject. Of course, that was true. But as it happened, I approached few professors in some colleges as well as university, and people were not interested in taking me because I wanted to do research in yoga. And they said, we don't have expertise, as well as we have not, no student has done research in yoga under us. And then it so happened, I had to take Hatha Yoga when I went to the present institute where I am working. The director at that time suggested. So she suggested only Hatha Yoga. And I had to take Hatha Yoga as Chariji Maharaj had predicted. Now, another thing I would like to tell, in 1991, I still had not finished my PhD, but two marriages took place in our Manapakam, in our Babuji Memorial Ashram, old meditation hall, and Revered Chariji Maharaj asked me to speak on marriage and Sahajaman. I said I will be very interested. So he was so thrilled when I was having breakfast in the dining room. He came fast from his cottage and then he caught hold of my shoulder, took me to the kitchen. Said, Kannan, I want to talk. I want you to talk on this, like this. I said, yes, sir. And then, before I could finish my breakfast, he was already in his room and he called me. And somebody came running. He said, Kannan Master calls you. So immediately I rushed to his room and he asked me to sit before him. And he said, you see, in marriage, in Vedic marriage, things have been described like this. So you speak about this today. I said, sir, I am not so conversant with these things. He said, Kannan, I have read all these things, but you speak about it today. And then he told me, look, I am giving my full power to you today. You speak with authority. You speak with full flow. And as it happened, I spoke after the satsang, just before the marriage took place, and he was immensely pleased. He didn't have anything in his hand to give. Somebody gave him a mango and he cut it into pieces and he gave me the mango piece. And then this is my prasad to you, he gave me. But the thing is, he got me introduced by telling lot of people in the audience, those who had come for the marriage, that here is this young boy who has done 2 PhDs. But the reality was, I had not finished my even first PhD. But as it happened, I could do 2 PhDs. So he had such a clairvoyance. I mean, these are all silly things, but still, how he plans, that's what I'm feeling. One more incident which Revered Chariji Maharaj told me was, he made Shashi Dhawan, who is now in Hyderabad. In 1985, when she came to Chennai, he made her a preceptor. And then when she left the next day, she stayed here for 1.5 days. When she left, she was in tears. Chariji Maharaj asked her, why are you in tears? She said, no, when I was a small girl, Babuji Maharaj said, you will settle down in Hyderabad and my successor will make you a preceptor. And she was surprised. She never knew what is Hyderabad, where it was. She had no idea. And her parents also didn't know because they didn't have anybody, any relation in Hyderabad. As it happened, after she got married, her husband got a job offer in Hyderabad. They settled in Hyderabad. And after Babuji Maharaj passed away in 1983, in 1985, Chariji Maharaj made her a preceptor. And then when I came to Gayatri, Chariji Maharaj told me, what happened, Kannan, today? And he told me about the Shashi Dhawan telling this. Then he told me, look, Kannan, your political leaders are planning for 5 years, 5-year plan. Ask them to throw everything in the dustbin. Look at my master. He planned 25 years ahead, 25 years ago. He said, your successor will make you a preceptor to Shashi Dhawan. And it happened today. So these masters, for them, there is no question of limitation of time and space. I have experienced so much of such incidents practically in my experience with Revered Chariji Maharaj. And I could tell you, when I was a student of a postgraduate degree, he told me one day, I was just standing before him, just about to leave Gayatri after satsang. He was in the veranda. He looked at me and said, Kannan, I want you to do research in Sahajamar. I said, yes, sir. And then he said, don't neglect Sahajamar. I said, yes, sir. And then he said, he just looked at me just for 1 minute, less than 1 minute. He stared at me. And then what happened? From my head to foot, the whole body was charged. I was completely immersed in the grace of the Master. Till now, I will not forget it. That made the foundation for my, academic world or academic pursuit, I could say. Whenever I had difficulty, I always went to him. And he encouraged me to talk. My first talk was on Babuji Maharaj when I was a college student. And then I wrote few Sanskrit verses and then English translation. And I wanted to present it. Those days, satsang used to be conducted at Gayatri. And on Sundays, as well as January 1st, was the Founders' Day celebration in Chennai. So what happened? I told him, I want to talk about this. He said, go ahead. And then Babuji Maharaj was in the physical frame at that time. It was in the year, I think, 1983, April. No, sorry, 1982, April. And then he asked me to go ahead. And then after I finished, some Abhyasi from the back commented, what is this? We are encouraging some boy to utter some Sanskrit verses on Babuji. Later on, we will have bhajans and all that. We should stop all these things. I felt so sad. But at the same time, I heard one voice. That was the voice of the General Secretary of the mission at that time, Charij Maharaj. He said, excellent. Later he patted me and said, excellent. You send it to Babuji Maharaj. And even when I wrote some verses on his father, on his 80th birthday, C.A. Rajagopalachari, we used to call him, many people called him Chachaji, many people called him Rajaji, we used to call him C.A.R. And he was so happy. And Master's father used to tell me many times that he was raised to Central Region by Babuji Maharaj. And whenever I used to address Chariji Maharaj as master, he used to say, Kanna, you are calling my son as the master. I said, of course, sir, he is our master. He said, he used to catch hold of my hands and say, he's not only your master, he's my master also. He may be my son, but he is my master. Babuji Maharaj raised me to Central Region, but still, if I want to progress further, then it has to be only through my son. So I should call him Son Maharaj. That was a wonderful relationship between the father and the son. And Chariji Maharaj used to say that he admired only two people for their fearlessness. One was his father, from whom he learned a lot. And of course, Babuji Maharaj. But in the field of spirituality, he said only two people, Swami Vivekananda and Babuji Maharaj. But he used to say, when it came to fearlessness and willpower, his father was an exemplary person. And I have witnessed it on so many occasions. So I used to go to him day after day, daily, from my house to my office, some 15 minutes walk, from my office to Gayatri, 20-25 minutes walk, and from there to my house, 20 minutes walk. like a triangle was my life those days. And if I didn't go for one day, or let us say 2 days, Chariji Maharaj, Mami, and his father would ask me, what happened? Why didn't you come yesterday? Like that. I remember one funny incident. I went to one lecture on Kundalini Yoga by some organization because I was doing research on Hatha Yoga at that time. And I thought it may be somewhat useful for my research. But it was, of course, I won't say trash, but it was something useless. I didn't cherish. But the way they were explaining Kundalini and all that, after coming home, I was full of that. And I tried to do cleaning as much as possible, but yet I had a fear of the Kundalini and all the such things. And early morning, that was lecture was on Saturday. Sunday, I rushed to Gayatri in the morning. The master's father was standing at the gate. He caught hold of me and said, Kalla, why didn't you come yesterday? I told him, Mama, yesterday I had gone to this lecture and they were talking of Kundalini and raising of the Kundalini. They asked me to close my eyes. So there were some people in the audience and they said my Kundalini has been aroused and all that. And I was perplexed. Then he caught hold of my hands and said, don't worry, master is there, nothing will happen. So he called his son, Pachu, come here. Master was inside and he came. Kannan went to a lecture on Kundalini yesterday and he's afraid that something had happened to him. Then master laughed and said, he asked me, why did you go to such lectures? Then I told him, sir, as you know, I am doing research in Hatha Yoga and I thought there will be something useful. Then he patted me, don't worry, nothing will happen. All this affection, protection, and the care that the masters have in our lives is remarkable. They bring us up, as we say in our prayer. You see the beauty in our prayer. The last line says, to bring us up to that stage. It does not say to put me or to push me or to pull me. To bring us. So bringing means the person has to be with the object which he is bringing. For example, if I come home to your house, if I come to your house and you bring me a cup of coffee, supposing I say, you just don't push the coffee. You are bringing it, you bring it with you. The same way, Master is bringing us up. So, all along, from the day one till the end, there is no end. As Babuji Maharaj said, there is only towards infinity. But he is there at all levels. So, one time in Gayatri, it was rare occasions. Only once or twice he told me, Chariji Maharaj, please sit, I am going to discuss about this. I want you to listen. Otherwise, whatever he said was full of wisdom, truth, and the highest wisdom. So that day he was discussing about the difference between Rama and Krishna, Lord Rama and Lord Krishna, and the ultimate reality and the master himself. So he said Rama manifested his divinity only to few people on few occasions. But Lord Krishna manifested his divinity from his childhood. And he manifested divinity in different levels, at different levels. To gopis or the cowherds, he manifested the divinity at a different level. To his friend, to the friends and others. But to Arjuna, as Babuji Maharaj has written in Voice Real, about Bhagavad Gita, there is a separate chapter where he said, Arjuna, Lord Krishna raised him to the Virat, the position of Virat. And Babuji Maharaj Lord Krishna transmitted from Brahmanda Mandal. So Arjuna could not withstand. So he was, trembling when we read the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where the cosmic vision of the Lord is described so beautifully. Arjuna repeatedly says he was trembling, his body was trembling, he was not able to withstand. And Revered Charij Maharaj has said on few occasions that some people are talking about the cosmic vision or, the Brahmanda. So some people are talking about this. But I tell you, how many of you will be able to bear this if the master chooses to give you that condition? Hardly anyone, he said. So he knows how to give, when to give, what to give. On another occasion, when we are going for a walk, we used to walk in the boat club road near his house. 55 minutes walk totally. From his house in the boat club road, 3 circles, and we will come home. Sometimes some other people were also there. So it took 55 minutes, and then he will go to bathroom, then wash his face, and then come and conduct satsang at 6:30 daily in the evening, and maybe some 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. After that, we will all assemble in the veranda. Many people would leave, and he would ask each and every one, what did you feel? What did you feel? Like that. Sometimes he asked me, I told him he was very happy. Your observation is right. Kannan, you have got excellent reading capacity. Like that, he used to always encourage. So during one such walk, he told me, you see, the sittings masters give slowly and steadily. And he said, happiness cannot be shared, joy cannot be shared, bliss cannot be shared. You can share your sorrow, your sadness, all your other feelings, but ultimate bliss. There are moments when we enjoy ultimate happiness, bliss that cannot be shared. So, in spirituality also, the bliss, therefore, is given to you, to all the abhyasis in every sitting, dose by dose. He told me 2 examples. One person got the news that he won a lottery and he got millions of dollars. He had a heart attack, immediately he died. He did not enjoy even the money that he got through the lottery. Ultimate, joy or the greatest happiness. Another thing he told me was during the Second World War, it did happen, because the master said it. In Germany, they had to carry some bomb or something like that. But it was extremely dangerous, risky to carry it, because if it shakes much, it will explode. So not many people came forward, some people came forward, and one person reached the camp to deliver this, and he was rewarded with some money, lot of money. And when he was rewarded with that money, he was so happy, immediately got heart attack and he died. So he said, look at this. This man did not die while carrying the weapon, but the happiness he was not able to withstand. Therefore, in our mission, we give the happiness or joy or bliss. Happiness and joy, they they pertain to the sense organs. Bliss pertains to the soul. So this is given step by step by step by step. Like the sculptor making the beautiful idol, chiseling, he used to chisel. And that is how the masters are making our personality. They are manifesting our divinity one by one by one by removing all the unwanted things. It's not as if we are lacking. There is no divinity in us. It's not that. Swami Vivekananda says, every soul is potentially divine, and it should be true. What is there is, it is covered by grasses. As Lord Krishna says, just like the smoke or the sediment covering the lamp, the light in the lamp, just like the mirror is covered by the dust, so it is not able to reflect my face. Just like the womb, that like the child in the womb, embryo, is covered by the bag, the womb, this reality is covered. What the master does is slowly and slowly he starts removing it. And ultimately it gets manifested. This the master is able to do without hurting our ego. That is the greatest thing. He told me once, Kannan, mastery does not lie in giving, because he said, Babuji Maharaj told him, Parthasarathi, master's job is only giving. He goes on giving whether you deserve or not. So Chariji Maharaj told me, strictly speaking, we don't deserve spirituality, but the master, out of his compassion and love for us, he goes on giving us whether we deserve or not. So he is always a giver. We should always be giving. But when the master gives, Chariji Maharaj said, it is not merely in giving. Mastery does not lie merely in giving, but it lies in giving in such a way that you don't know that you are receiving it. Because it is just like a child, when it sucks the milk from the mother, it does not know. Mother feeds the child in such a way that child does not know it is sucking from the mother. It is so soft, it is so soothing, it is so smooth. Like that, the transmission is the subtlest thing. The master is giving all of us that. If I know some people, if they know that they are receiving it, or the master is formally teaching, instructing, like the Vedas, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, speak the truth, follow Dharma, don't speak untruth, like that, Babuji Maharaj said, I believe in my associates, they are all learned people, they are all mature people, so I don't say all these things like school children. So Chariji Maharaj used to all say the same thing. We are not giving direct instructions, because if you break that, if you transgress the instructions of the master, we will be committing a great sin of not obeying the master. Therefore, the masters don't give us direct instruction. He will talk to somebody, but he will be instructing you. So the masters, they go on giving us whether we deserve or not. And they don't give us instructions directly. This is the greatest difference, one of the greatest differences that we find from the traditional school of yoga, as well as our spirituality, our religion, and also our system. This is one of the greatest, wonderful and the most, I can say, or the best system that has ever come to this earth. We are fortunate to be associated with such a great master. I have experienced Chariji Maharaj transmitting by touch. He has done it to me. And he has transmitted through eyesight. He has transmitted through words. And he has transmitted through, of course, from heart to heart that we are all experiencing. So these are the 4 methods of transmission described in our ancient text. And I have seen all these things experienced. And formally, he won't say, come, I am going to transmit through hands or something like that, not through touch, through sight like that. He teaches us everything he speaks or does is only teaching. I learned so much. Once, I used to type letters for him, and he had to type so much. So I offered to type in my spare time from my college or whatever it is, and send posts or arrange the files and all that. He wrote to one Abhyasi in Europe, I don't criticize you, but I criticize only your action. See the greatness of the person. It's very difficult to segregate, distinguish between the action of the person or the person. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that you are not really doing it right or wrong. Your samskaras, your prakriti or your gunas push you to do this. That's what Sahajamarg also says. Why a person acts in such a peculiar way? Because his samskaras push him like that. But when we allow the master to work on us, when we cooperate, open our heart, then you can see the miracle that it is just like a parabola in mathematics. Our tendencies are going like this. Again, from below, he is bringing us up. It is going like the syllable you in English, you. Therefore, Babuji Maharaj just played with the word. He liked to play. He liked that reality. He defined as real plus ity is there. No, he said from I to you. That is reality. I, then T stands for TO2, Y stands for you. So real from I to you. That is what the great master said. And the greatness is the simplicity. The masters are totally simple. And that simplicity deceives us. I have seen unknown people coming to Chariji Maharaj. God knows how they knew. 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 people I have met. They begged him, please give me, show your grace on me. On one incident, Chariji Maharaj said, come and give him 25 paise. That is quarter of a rupee. Send him away. And I gave him, he said, that person, said, I don't want money. I have come here to beg, not for money. I have come here to beg spirituality from him, the grace from him. I told Chariji Maharaj. He said, no, tell him it is not available. Ask him to go. And that person knelt, like the Christians pray in the churches, on the road, and extended both his hands and then prayed to him, you please bless me. Somehow some people had some idea. They used to come to Gayatri and salute him. That was his greatness. But when he was with children, he was a child. When he was with adult, I have seen him dealing with the topmost position, in police or the person with lowest. Once I tell you, we were in Trichy for a celebration. And when we were coming back near Sri Lanka, when Abhyasi was going in his small moped, cycle like thing, Chariji Maharaj, from the window of the car, I was sitting with him. He just pulled down the mirror glass and then he called him and then said, I am coming to your house. The person was so happy. And the house was in such a small lane, the car could not go. What happened? The house was so small, very old house, very small portion, one small hall, where one sofa was kept, one cycle was there, and some other, things were there. Myself, Chariji Maharaj and Mami were there. Mami went to the kitchen, a small room. That was the whole house. Husband and wife were living in the small place. And he was a teacher. Mami went and the Chariji Maharaj told both of them, don't cook anything. I am here just to meet you. Some curd rice is enough. Or if you have bread or you bring some bread, bread is enough for me. And he was so comfortable sitting like this. And then I found that day that here is Lord Krishna himself visiting, Kuchela in Srimad Bhagavatam or in Mahabharata. We find this person, a very poor man, Brahmin, called Kuchela, visiting Lord Krishna. They were great friends when they were studying with their guru in their school days. And they were very poor. He had 27 children. So his wife always prompted him to go to Krishna and beg for some money. So he went, he didn't have anything to give, only some puffed rice, small thing, and he was in rags, old dhoti. They didn't allow him to go into the palace of Lord Krishna. But when Krishna knew that he was coming, he just came out and he hugged him, took him inside, gave him very good bath and wonderful dress to wear, and excellent feast. And the time was there to leave, and he didn't know what to ask. See, finally, what happened? Lord Krishna blessed him, and his whole house became such a great palace filled with all the fortunes, all the wealth of the world. But here is the Lord, here is the great master going to such a poor man's house, not the poor man visiting the master there. I was in tears to see that. The same master visits all of us. This is the real home. So master said, it is arrogance to say that I allow the master to enter into my heart. Who are you to allow? He said. He said, fool, if he is not in your heart, you will die. There is no life for it. Therefore, heart is the seat of meditation because divinity is there in the heart. Therefore, it is called Hridayam in Sanskrit. As Revered Daji Sahab explained to us 2 weeks ago about the heart. So, the secrecy is we are not allowing him, he is already there. Just open the heart to see him, that's all. And then we can see the beauty when he is there in the heart. We can see how he makes us grow like the seed. Chariji Maharaj said once that the master sows the seed of spirituality in each and every one. Sometimes the seed falls in the fertile land, sometimes on the rocks, sometimes on the clay, sometimes on the marshy land. Those seeds which fall on the fertile land germinate quickly. Some other places, it may take some time. It is not that his seeds are being wasted. Nothing from the master is wasted. Whatever he talks, whatever he says or does, there is a purpose behind it. When Chariji Maharaj was the general secretary of our mission, one day, Basant celebration was conducted in Shahjahanpur. Babuji was giving sitting, and Chariji Maharaj had stomach upset, and he had to rush to the toilet. And some people, there were quite a few who didn't like him, who didn't like the rise of Chariji Maharaj in our mission, like who didn't like the way Chariji Maharaj functioned in our mission. They went and complained to Babuji Maharaj after the satsang. Look, you are conducting satsang, and this man Partha Sarthi left the satsang in the middle. Babuji Maharaj kept quiet. He said, ha ha. Suddenly they said, Babuji, today is Basant Panchami and you are conducting satsang. And how can you leave the satsang in the middle? Babuji Maharaj very calmly and coolly replied to them, whatever Partha Sarthi does, there is a purpose behind it. See, it is easy for the disciple or the followers to have faith on the master. But for the master to have faith in the disciple, how much great the disciple should be. That was the greatness of Chariji Maharaj. And I think Babuji Maharaj called only one person as disciple, and that is Chariji Maharaj. And he had so much of freedom. He told me once when they were coming from Europe in the airport, Babuji Maharaj was so happy, he hugged him and he said, Partha Sarati, this time all the work was done by you. I'm very happy. You ask me whatever you want, I will give you. So Chariji Maharaj told me, Kannan, he was in such a frame of mind. Had I asked anything, including the mastery over the universe, he would have given me just like that. But I felt irritated. I was angry. So Chariji Maharaj told Babuji Maharaj, I am not a waiter in the hotel to be given some tips and sent away like this. You know, Babuji Maharaj was stunned. And Chariji Maharaj said, what have I done? Why should I talk to my master like this? But Babuji Maharaj very calmly told him, Partha Sarati, what is tips? And Chariji Maharaj immediately lost his temper. He laughed and told Babuji Maharaj, Babuji, you know, when you go to hotel, they whatever you eat, you are paying for what you ate. They give you the bill. But more than that, just to show our affection for the service rendered by the waiter, we give him some more money, which we call the tips. And then Babuji Maharaj understood. And then he said, Parthasarathi, now I understand why you are angry with me. Now I am your master and you are my disciple. I cannot apologize to you, but please excuse me. This is what Babuji Maharaj told him. And you know, Chariji Maharaj was so much, like in cricket we say bold. He was 1 over. Babuji Maharaj always had the knack of bringing Chariji Maharaj into his fold. Of course, he was in his fold. In 1982, the last trip, Babuji Maharaj went to France, in Europe. And nothing happened to the liking of Chariji Maharaj as well as Babuji. Babuji Maharaj wanted to leave the world. He told Chariji Maharaj, nobody likes me. I want to leave this world now itself. So he was in tears. Babuji, please don't do it. What will happen to us? Then Babuji Maharaj said to him, who wants me? They are doing everything on their own. Then he said, Parthasarathi, even if everybody leaves the mission, I don't care. I want only you to be with me. And just after some time, or maybe after 1 or 2 days, he called him to his room and scolded him. Babuji Maharaj scolded Chariji Maharaj. And Chariji Maharaj was in tears. He told his master, Babuji, can I tell you one thing? He said, yes. You have made people for different purposes. You have given them different works. But me, you have made only to scold. Only for criticism, only for scolding. Then Babuji Maharaj looked at him innocently and said, Parthasarathi, whom else can I scold? And then Chariji Maharaj laughed when he told me this, and he said, look, when the master told like this, what can you do? It shows that wonderful relationship they had. He also narrated another incident. Once they were in Shahjahanpur, and Babuji Maharaj, just before commencing the satsang, he made somebody to make, he asked somebody to make the bed in his room ready. And then after the satsang was over, Chariji Maharaj felt sleepy. He said, Parthasarathi, go and sleep in that room. It was morning on a Friday. And then when he woke up, he came to the hall. There were some people already. Babuji Maharaj was sitting. Everybody started laughing at him. Chariji Maharaj also looked at him and started laughing. I mean, Babuji Maharaj looked at him and started laughing. And he didn't know. And then he said, perhaps I have come directly from the bed. So he went to the bathroom, washed his face and came. But again, people laughed at him. And Babuji Maharaj also laughed at him. So he went to Babuji and said, why Babuji, everybody is laughing at me and you are also laughing at me. What happened? Babuji Maharaj told him, Parthasarathi, you have slept for a long time. And the Chariji said, no, I went to sleep at, 10 o'clock. Now it is 4 o'clock. Just, it is 6 o'clock. So I slept for perhaps 8 hours. From morning 10 to evening 6, 8 hours. And then Parthasarathi laughed and said, Parthasarathi, look at the calendar. And then with all the timidity, he looked at the calendar. It was Monday evening. So said for 72 hours or 78 hours, he had slept. And he was trembling. He was confused. He looked at Babuji, and Babuji Maharaj hugged him and said, "Don't worry, Parthasarathi. I'm so happy. When Lalaji Maharaj gave me such a sitting, I slept for 1 week continuously. But in your case, the work was over within 3 days. So I'm very happy." That was the longest sitting I had from Babuji, he said. Another time in the airport, Babuji Maharaj, asked him to close his eyes and started meditation. Before he could give the sankalpa and start the meditation, Babuji Maharaj said, "That's all." That is what he said to me, 40 seconds or something like that. The shortest sitting ever Babuji Maharaj gave. And some people, when Babuji Maharaj came to know about this in Shahjahanpur, they said, "Oh, Chariji, Parthasarathi didn't have the capacity. He was so gross that Babuji Maharaj didn't want to give sitting and all that." So one person asked Babuji Maharaj, "Is it true, Babuji, you gave a sitting to Parthasarathi for 40 seconds? He said, "Yes, I did give. Yes, I gave him." What was so special about it? He said, "Yes, it was a special sitting." And that person asked him, "Have you ever given such a sitting to X, Y, Z?" They went on asking some people's name. Babu said, "No, no, no." Then that person asked, "Why only to Chariji? Parthasarathi." Then Babuji Maharaj calmly said, "Only Parthasarathi had the capacity to receive that." "What did you do?" That person asked. He said, "I transmitted my original condition to him." Look at that. Original condition means, as Babuji Maharaj writes, our nerves will be shattered, our bones and body will get shattered. But within 40 seconds, here was the greatest personality, Babuji Maharaj, who transmitted that to his most worthy disciple, Chariji Maharaj, who had the capacity to receive it such a short time. So he said, "You see, the longest sitting and the shortest sitting, I'm fortunate to have from my master." Such was their relationship. Another time, he said, one Abhyasi from here went to Babuji Maharaj. And Babuji Maharaj was not happy with the condition of that Abhyasi. And he scolded Parthasarathi Maharaj, "What you people are doing? I find him gross." Then Chariji Maharaj just prayed for a second and said, "Babuji, shall I say something?" He said, "Yes, go ahead." This person has been coming to Shahjahanpur for the past 5 years. And you made him a preceptor 3 years ago. May I ask you what you have been doing to him? Then Babuji Maharaj stared at him and said, "Parthasarathi, you are becoming philosopher. You are becoming intelligent." That's what he told him. So that was the great affinity, the association between the master and the disciple, which we have seen, because we have not seen the relationship between Lalaji Maharaj and Babuji Maharaj. Absolutely immeasurable, unmatched. Chariji Maharaj used to say, the introduction that Babuji has written in Truth Eternal about Lalaji Maharaj is the best romantic literature he has ever read. And mind you, Chariji Maharaj is the most voracious reader I have ever seen. He used to read so fast. Big book of 500, 600 pages, he will finish in one day or one night rather. And he was ready with that book. He grasped everything. Here is the master talking about his master. The greatest romantic literature ever he has read is by Babuji Maharaj talking about his master Lalaji Maharaj. So if at all there is something to be praised, admired, or to be adored, to obey, be followed, there's only one personality. Chariji Maharaj said there are two examples in life. Whom to follow, whom not to follow. Whom not to follow, we have so many people. As we used to say in our culture, don't follow Ravana, follow Rama. Whom to follow? Only one person, that is the master. So here is the Guru Parampara, the lineage, the hierarchy, the great masters coming to us one by one, blessing us with their presence. I mean, the presence itself is more than transmission. So we learn each second. When Abhyasi told us, I was sitting with Master. He came from the Gulf. Of course, he was from Chennai. He said to me, Kannan, you know, in every moment in your life, there is always an opportunity for corruption. Immediately, Chariji Maharaj patted me, tapped me and said, Kannan, don't, listen to this. He said, every moment of your life gives you the opportunity for evolution, for progress. That is the positive approach that the masters teach us. They live such a life for us to emulate, not merely emulate, adore, admire, but to follow. Here lies our future, here lies our present. Let us not worry about the past. In Him lies everything, and I hope that we will all live in Him. That Master lives in our home, in the heart is not enough. As Chariji Maharaj used to say, are you living? Are you able to find a place in His heart? Then do it. By hook or crook, just try to do it and see what happens to you. As Babaji Maharaj said, make the Master happy and see what happens. That is the greatest challenge. The real happiness is to make him or to happy in the sense that we have to become that which he wants us to become in the shortest possible time. These are the Chariji Maharaj's words. So with this, I pray that we all become deserving, more deserving, most deserving disciples of the Master, and let us contribute for the growth of the mission, for strengthening the hands of our Master in all the possible ways. I once again thank all of you for your patient listening, and I hope maybe in future you will give me more opportunity to interact with you once in a month or once in 2 months. And of course, I always have a loose tongue. I always talk and talk and talk without caring whether the people are listening or not. And anyway, Chariji Maharaj told me, don't worry about the people, whether they listen to you or not. I will be sitting and listening to you wherever you speak, whatever you speak. And I believe it 100%. That was one of the greatest blessings. I mean, series of blessings. Master is always blessing us. So I believe that wherever we are, he is always with us. With this, I thank you once again for all your love and affection. And once again, I thank Brother Ramesh for contacting me. And I thank you for your time. And I thank Master for all these things happening in my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. It is really so heartwarming and uplifting and inspiring to hear those words about the great master. If you would permit us, we could give you a short break. Do you need a break of few minutes before we proceed to the question and answer session? If you need a bio break, we can take 5 minutes.
I don't. I will sit here itself. No problem.
Oh, okay. Brother Sarah, do we need a short break for everybody else, the audiences? Brother Sarah?
I think it's okay. We can proceed.
We can proceed?
A bit late, yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So we will
I think
move
there
on.
is no compulsion or force for everybody to sit. They want to have a break, For
Yes.
me, when the subject matter is master or something like that, I go on and on. So I can't talk about others. But if they really want some break for a few minutes, I will sit here, no problem.
Okay. We will just take 1 minute and we will start the Q&A session.
Yeah.
Just so that people can just stretch their
Yes.
legs, their have to. Um, we will go with the questions that we have planned for the session. I think some of it were also covered just now, so it's wonderful. It's remarkable that you're able to foresee the questions that people have prepared beforehand. So it was also very nice to know that the answers were already given to us. But nevertheless, we will ask you some of the questions which were sent to us by our members. So I will start with the first question. Brother,
Sir.
if you're ready, with your permission.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No permission.
Okay, these are a few simple questions before we get into a greater intense question. These are just the first one or two questions. The first one, here it goes. What was it about Chariji that first drew you to him?
Oh, everything in the master. As I told you, the affection, the love, the paternal care, the motherly affection, his simplicity, his way of dealing with he was great while dealing with youth also. I have never met such a person. His knowledge, everything in him. I can't pinpoint a single aspect in his life. Whether it was a five-star hotel, whether dealing with, the way he introduced me to the vice chancellors, to the IIT directors and all. That was something remarkable. I am not nowhere before him. I mean, nobody is, anywhere before him, but still, he is always happy with his abhyasis. So everything in him is grand. There is nothing lacking in the master, as I perceived, as I experienced. There is nothing lacking in me, master.
Okay, the second question is related, it's linked. But if you were to choose, what would be his most attractive characteristic or feature in Master Chariji for you? If you were to select one.
No. I would select the personality, which includes everything. Because he was a person without any personality. Personality means, it comes from the word persona, means mask. He never had any mask. He was such a natural person. He was such a simple and open-hearted, frank, natural person we have ever met.
Okay, before we move on further, would you mind sharing with all of us, how did you get this name Sanskrit Kannan? I know you are a Sanskrit.
No, you see,
But we would
when
like
I joined the mission, there was
Yeah.
another Balasubramanian. My original name is Balasubramanian, official name. In my house, my parents and my friends also used to call me Kannan. Kannan is, in our houses, generally we used to have two names, like Babu, Gopu, Baby, like that, like many people have. So my name was Kannan. And since there was another Balu or Balasubramanian, so master said, what, did you have any other name? He said, Kannan. Then he said, I will call you by that name. But as things happened, there were other Kannan. Now in America, there is Victor Kannan, and the chief cook in our Manapakam ashram, Kannan, and there is another Kannan in Dubai. There were other Kannans. And even in Manapakam, ashrams, we have some around 23 Balasubramanians. So he used to call me to distinguish, because I am working in Sanskrit college, where my research institute is situated. So he called me Sanskrit Kannan, that's all.
Thanks. Okay. Next question. Can you hear me? Brother?
Yes?
Yes, brother. Yes.
What was the best? Okay, the next question number 3. What was the best piece of advice or instruction you received from Chariji which helped you tremendously in your spiritual journey?
Oh, one thing, he said, the transmission is always available 24 hours. That is the proof that the master is working all the 24 hours. Okay. So he made me realize that He is there with us all the 24 hours. The greatest assurance Lord Krishna repeatedly gives in the Bhagavad Gita that my devotee shall not perish. I am always with my devotee. That's what Lord Krishna says. And Chariji Maharaj also had such a great instruction that I am always with you. And in the last message, I think most of us would have seen it. All of us would have seen it. Distance is not a matter. Believe me when I say I'm always with you. And we experience that.
Next question, brother. From your experience, what would be the most important quality for an Abhyasi to emulate from Chariji?
Oh, I would say two things. Chariji Maharaj said, obedience. All Abhyasis, they have to have obedience and humility. So both go together, humility and obedience. So what is required in the Abhyasis, Chariji Maharaj always used to say, humility. And we have to obey the master, number one. And then simplicity. So he said, you have to serve the master at all levels. So there are ways of approaching the master through willpower, through our meditation, through whatever means one can approach the divinity. But Chariji Maharaj said, I prefer service. So he said, service with humility. So everything is interrelated. So Chariji Maharaj said all Abhyasis should have humility, simplicity, and then service. It is service which attracted Babuji Maharaj. It is his service to the master and the mission that attracted Babuji Maharaj, that attracted Chariji Maharaj to his master. Babuji Maharaj was attracted only through his services. That's what he said.
Then next question. Are there any special moments that you have experienced that are magical, extraordinary, or even supernatural with
God,
Chariji Maharaj?
how can I answer this question? Every moment I have experienced so many things in my personal life. For example, I will share only this. My first son was born in 1994. Just before that only we came to know that he had so many complications in the heart, in the liver, in the stomach, everything was, in a mess. And the doctor said, when he comes out, he will not live even for few seconds or few hours. But Chariji Maharaj told me and my wife, let us pray, let us see what happens. And the moment he was born, he was kept in the incubator or the oxygen chamber. And then he was shifted to another big hospital. And in 4 days, the fourth day, Chariji Maharaj came to the hospital to see the child. And he transmitted to this boy, he was full of flu because congenital heart disease, lot of problems were there. And I can tell you one or two things. His liver and stomach were together. I have even the medical records even now with me. And after Chariji Maharaj visited and left, that night when they took another scan or whatever it is, the next day the doctor called me into the ICU and said, sir, we are all only doctors. Nature is the greatest doctor. God decides. So it's a medical miracle that they got separated on their own, the liver and the stomach. And Chariji Maharaj, when he visited, he transmitted to this child of just 4 days through touch. He touched the child like this in so many places, in the face, in the forehead, in the hands, in the legs. I could see the transmission flowing. But enough for the child to withstand. And as he grew, he lived for 5 years. He told me, couldn't take care of him for 5 years. He could not walk. He was very weak. He asked me to put him in a school at the age of 4. I put him. and said that let him be always under your eye, you know. So the school was fortunately within the same campus where my office is situated, just some 50 yards or something like that. And sometimes he used to ask me to bring the child to Gayatri, and he used to transmit to him from the distance by the eyes, or keeping him in between the two legs and asking the boy to close the eyes by placing their hands, one on the chest, one on the back. Close, then, okay, please start meditation. And this boy will meditate for 1.5 minutes. And Charij Maharaj asked him, what did you feel? He said, so good. I mean, where can you see such things? Exactly after 5 years, next day, the boy passed. And Charij Maharaj was in Ahmedabad at that time in Rajabai's house. He came to Chennai, called me to Gayatri, my wife also, gave us sitting, and then he told me he was a saint in his previous birth. Only some samskaras were left. That's why he was born to you. And when the samskaras were over, the soul left the body. I am very happy. Please excuse me for saying this. I am very happy, he said, because had you done another surgery, he would have collapsed and he would have to undergo a lot of suffering. So he left. I am very happy. And then he said he was a great saint in his previous birth. And you know, he told my wife, you are a noble soul, so he was born to you. And now time has come, he had to leave. And he said to me, Kannan, I'm sorry to say, I knew it some 15 days ago. No, I don't want to mention the date and all that. No, it is in my memory. But how can I call you and say, Kanna, your son is going to die in 2 weeks? How can I say like that? So this is the pitiable situation of the masters. They may know so many things, whether it is pandemic or something like that, whether something is going to happen or something, but they can't express it. So he said, I didn't want to tell you. So such moments, you know, he made the child to live for 5 years, and he has extended the life of some people whom I know personally, some children where the doctors said there was blood clot and the child would die, the surgery has to be done, there was no surgery required. I mean, these things we don't, you know, manifest like some other people saying miracles happening and all that. We don't say. I have seen so many cases like that. But in my case, I can talk authoritatively. In others' case also, because I have been a witness. But the greatest miracle, as the master says, is to make a person from an animal level or with all his tendencies to a good human being and a perfect human being. That is one of the greatest miracles. And I have seen many people, drunkards and you know, those who are addicted to so many things, completely transformed. That's a great thing.
Another thought. Has he related any past life experiences or any connections or relationships with you in a different life? Has he related such incidents with you?
You see, one Abhyasi asked Chariji Maharaj, what happened to those people who were with Lord Krishna during Mahabharata time? And Chariji Maharaj told him, well, we are all united now. So that means we were connected even 5,000 years ago or 7,000 years, whatever it is. Now, due to, you know, I don't know how many people have heard about the Nadi. There is one type of astrology in the Nadi. We call it Nadi Jyotisha, where some old palm leaf manuscripts were still available in a place in Tamil Nadu and also in Hoshiarpur in Punjab, where it is said if you give your thumb impression, they will be able to read your past, your father's name, mother's name, your brothers, sisters, your wife, children, and they will tell you what you are in the present and also the future. Okay, whether it comes true or not, but past, so many people, including Don Sovereign from Canada, he spoke in our ashram. He was very close to Babuji. It was he who typed the document of Babuji Maharaj nominating Chariji Maharaj as his successor. So Don Sovereign said in his case also it came true. And many foreign Abhyasis from Western countries also have seen it. And in Chariji Maharaj's case, it has come absolutely fantastic. He said that before his marriage, it was written that he would marry a girl or lady with the name Beautiful Eye. That is Sulochana. In Sanskrit means beautiful eye. And he would go to Ramchandra at the age of 37. Then he would, after some time, go to one Varadachari, Varada. Then again Babuji, that is Ramchandra, will take him in his cab. And at the age of 58, he would reach the maximum that is available for human evolution. When he told me he has just retired, that is 58 years from his office. Then he looked at me and winked his eyes and said, Kannan, I'm 58 now. So that means he had attained the highest according to the Nadi, Jyotisha, astrology. But he said, when he told this to Babuji Maharaj told him, Parthasarathi, do you believe in your master now? Then Chariji Maharaj told him immediately, no, Babuji, I think I can believe the astrology now. So the past, about his past also, he has mentioned once or twice like this. But he told me that he was united with Babuji Maharaj in 3 lives. One, when Babuji was Patanjali, he was a disciple of Patanjali, that is Babuji. And 2, this life. And the 3rd one, he did not tell me directly. He said that it's a mystery. I won't tell you now. So that was in 3 lives they were master and disciple.
All masters go through a lot of miseries and sufferings in their life because of Abhyasi. According to you, what was Charji's greatest suffering or agony that he had to go through and why?
The thing is, the lives of all the masters is only suffering. Whenever I read Chariji Maharaj's book as an Abhyasi, when he was the General Secretary, the Garden of Hearts and the what you call it, Sahajamarg in Europe, and then Blossoms in the East. 2 books he wrote about his tour with Babuji to Malaysia, Singapore. Blossoms in the East and Garden of Hearts. And 2 for the European tour, Sahajamarg in Europe, and what is the next one? I will tell you. Now they have been published under the title Yatra in 2 volumes. Okay. So I used to envy him. But later on I found, and he has also said, that master means master of suffering. He had the greatest problems. I won't call it just because of Abhyasis, because Chariji Maharaj also said, it will talk very poorly about us, that we are causing misery. Of course, we are yet putting bar. Master said in one of his speeches to the preceptors in Chennai, I would pray like this if I had to say the prayer, mission's prayer. Oh Master, thou art the real goal of human life. Then he said, I am yet slaves of your wishes, putting bar to my advancement. That's what he said, looking at the preceptors. So of course, it is a pitiable thing. He said, I am like a person in the cage, like a monkey in the cage, in the zoo, where some people, throw stones at the monkey, but at the same time, they may give some fruits and other things. But here in the mission, all I get is only criticisms, abuses, and all bad names and all that. One thing which Lord Rama says in the Ramayana, as well as Chariji Maharaj said, the greatest sin that we can commit is betrayal. The betrayal is the greatest sin that the master cannot, tolerate or withstand. I have seen so many people who are so close to Babuji or so close to Chariji Maharaj, leaving him. And not only that, stabbing him from behind, saying that he was not sincere in the progress. He used to tell us that you can call master anything, but don't say that he is not committed to your progress. His commitment to your progress, your evolution, your welfare is more than your own commitment. He is more committed to you. He loves you more. Babuji Maharaj said, the master loves you more than you love yourselves. So that gives the greatest separation.
Brother Kannan, you are very close to Chariji. After his Mahasabandhi in 2014, how smooth was your transition from Chariji to the present living master?
Ah.
Please, can you elaborate on this?
The thing is, unlike, the greatest thing, as I can perceive, is in Chariji Maharaj's case, Babuji Maharaj did not leave any bill known to people. It was typed by Don Soberin, posted by registered post by him. It reached Chariji Maharaj and he kept it in the bank locker. He opened it only after the Mahasamadhi. He came to know of Babuji Maharaj passing away on April 19th, 1983. Then only he showed it to his wife, father, all of them wept, of course his son. He called Swaminathan, who was also living near his house. And he also wept. And then Swaminathan told him, Pachu, Chari, you made a mistake. You have not registered it. You see, that gave a lot of suspicion and other things. Many people questioned the very authenticity of Babuji Maharaj's bill, because there were other aspirants for that post. Or people wanted power, position, name, fame, and other things. But here, Rabbi Chariji Maharaj made sure that such things he used to tell. I am going abroad begging to the Abhyasis for donations and all that, so that my successor should not feel the financial constraint that I am facing, or any difficulty that I have been facing, criticism and other things. He told us. And another thing is, he made it public announcement that here is Kamalesh D. Patel, who would be the successor, who would succeed me. So there was absolutely no scope for ambiguity. Again, there were some people who might have, some ambition or desire that he or she, or not she, only he, such a person, or I will become like that. Some people would have thought nothing of that sort. He made it clear. And being in Chennai or Madras, and our Daji Sahab, at that time he was Kamlesh Patel only, Kamlesh. I knew him for quite some years also. And sometimes when Chariji Maharaj was not there or was not well, our Daji Sahab used to conduct satsang. And then in the meeting openly held, before all the Abhyasis in the meditation hall, then they requested Chariji Maharaj to nominate him as the vice president for the present, asked him to continue as the president. These are all in record. So I'm not talking something secret. It's all in record. And Chariji Maharaj said, now I'm really a chairman, because he was in wheelchair. So I am a chairman, he said. And he said very jovially, please permit me to remain in the cottage. They were all, in tears and laughter and all that. So he made it sure that his disciple, his successor, has been nominated and he would succeed him. There is absolutely no scope of ambiguity or any lack of clarity in that. So it is as smooth as we can imagine. Nobody can have any question over it.
Besides what you have mentioned in your talk today, brother, are there any profound personal moments that you had with him that you have never shared before in the past? But
Of course, there
today
are
you
many.
may feel
No, there are
ready to
many.
talk
But
about it.
as you say, this cannot be shared. So there are many very, very personal and intimate moments while traveling, or while sleeping with him, or the sittings that he gave, what he told me. It will be just like boosting. I mean, if you permit me, I will say only one thing. He said to another person next to me, he said, Kannan is as pure as Christian. So, which guru will say? And he told me so many times, so many things. Every time, even now, I am in tears. No guru will ever say like that. Here is the master who wants to, say so many good things. I mean, this is in record, in audio, and I don't know, they didn't take video at that time. In Babuji Memorial Ashram, in the meditation hall, in the year 2007, I think. So after the CHRIST First International Seminar, Sister Sushila was also there with us at the seminar. And of course, we had a lot of moments there. Personally, Master, I had, but he talked about each and every speech. But he did not talk about my speech at all. In fact, he asked me to give 2 speeches. I said, what happened to him? He did not comment on my speech. Then, before more than 3,000 Abhyasis in the meditation hall in Babuji Memorial Ashram, when I was ready with a book of mine it was published, but yet to be released after 15 days, I showed him, this is the book that is going to come on yoga, on Yoga Upanishad. I was so happy. He said, Kannan, today I will release it. I said, sorry, sir, that person may get angry. We have invited so and so, one great yoga teacher, to release it. Then he told me, no, let him make the official release. Today I will make the spiritual release. So after satsang, he made his granddaughter and grandson, they looked at me, he called me to the dais, and he started telling so many things about me. And he called me a seer. I mean, it is embarrassing to talk of all these things, what he told me. But it is there in the archives. But he said, you should emulate him. He is a seer, but he does not have a beard. Maybe in the future he will have a beard. I was constantly in tears. I was standing in the desk next to him. And he is going on talking, and all the people were looking at me and the master. Many people were in tears that he never talks about anybody like that. And then when he said, maybe in future he will have a beard, then only I laughed. Such moments are very, very rare. I think no master ever takes. Of course, I have so many moments in my life. Both master and mommy. I mean, they took in turn to say so many things. I mean, certain things cannot be said, and it is etiquette, against etiquette also. So,
Now, next, during your times with Charity, what would you consider as one incident or experience which made a very significant impact on your life or on you?
no, as I told you, the first time or whatever it is, every time he has given me sittings and all that. Each one is so unique. Unique means really unique. I can't forget that. I can bring back those memories or the moments or the experience or the condition also. But that 45 seconds or something like that, I was standing and he was staring at me. Well, I have experienced it many times, like eyes and other things, So that the master entering into the Abhyasa, that was really fantastic. That was really fantastic.
Okay. What are some of the most humorous moments you have encountered with him?
No,
Please share.
the thing is, there are so many. Chariji Maharaj used to say a person should have humor. A person practicing yoga, people think they are very serious and all that. He said, without humor, there is no life. Okay. There are so many things. Maybe we can have a separate session on humor and Sayadaman or the master or something like that. You know, in Hyderabad, when we had a
Just one for
Huh?
today.
one
Just one.
thing, I tell you, when he was about to leave for Europe for the first time after becoming the president of the mission, 1985. I mean, immediately it comes to me, and the next day he had to start from Chennai with Mami. In 1985, he asked me to stay with him in Gayatri, just to help him to pack, all these things and not really his things, but certain things from the ground floor to the upstairs and all that. And another Abhyasi also came from outside. And Chariji Maharaj took me to the bedroom and he showed me, just opened the cupboard, showed me all the coats that there. I just thought, he's having so many, but he's not wearing any. So I told him, sir, you have got so many coats. Of course, he held a very high position in his office, corporate office. But you are not wearing anything. He told me, no, you see, I have become very simple, no? And then he said, no, for Europe, I have to wear one. Which do you prefer? No, I have never worn a coat in my life. But I preferred one beautiful color, something like chocolate or something like that. So beautiful. I have the photo with me. And that attracted me so much. Before I could say, he just took that. And then what about this? He said, yes, sir, I was about to say the same thing. It will be so good if you wear this. I said, okay, I like it. You also like it, so I will take it. And then he said, how much will you cost? Tell me. I said, sorry, sir, I don't know all these things. Please don't ask. He said, just guess and tell me. He gave it to me. He said, you just look at it and then tell me. I said, sir, I have never worn a coat in my life and I don't know all this. He said, just imagine, guess and tell me. So I thought it was a great amount. So I said, 1 meter is 1,000 rupees, sir, per meter. Then he said, you keep it. I will give you 3,000 rupees. Can you get 1 meter of this cloth? I said, sorry, sir, that's why I told you I don't know all this. He said, you know, Kannan, this cloth is manufactured only in 3 places in the entire world. So I have got a coat made out of it. I said, it's so beautiful. Then when he was about to, I was standing like this, and then he was standing like this, just at the distance. A silly, a foolish, a childish thought came to me. He's having so many coats. Why should not give one of these things to him? Just he was about to take one foot and just shouted at me, Kannan, I can easily give one of these things to you, but you are too small for it. What? It was like a slap. And what a foolish thought to get before the master. And then I went to sleep. He went to sleep. Early morning, I finished my meditation. He called me by 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Then he said, Kannan, he had a new beautiful shirt in his hand. I still remember white and red stripes, long stripes. This is for you. Because what happened yesterday, I thought, this is for you. I said, sorry, sir, I don't want all this. No. I want to give you. You please stand there. Always he used to ask me to stand next to the wall. He would take photo and all that. And then he opened the shirt, measured it, and my God, it was a full-hand shirt going up to this, my hand it was up to this, it stretched like this, and the shirt's length was touching my knees. I said, sir, please don't give me. I look like a buffoon in the circus if I wear this. I don't, I can't wear this. He laughed and said, yes, it is too long. Shall I alter this and give you? I said, no, sir, don't spoil this. You give it to somebody else. whom do you recommend? I said, X, Y, like that. He said, no, 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 they don't deserve. Okay, I will give you another shirt. So he packed and kept it inside. Of course, in his life, he gave me so many shirts, pants, shoes, tie, I mean, everything. So many, the whole life. So immediate. And another time, he told me, I mean, he used to come up to the gate and then send us off. Most probably, I will be the last person to leave Gayatri. And in the gate, he told me, Kannan, today I am very sad. He said, why, sir? I don't like these preceptors. They are not doing their work. What should they do? They are not using their willpower. That's what he said. Sir, what do you mean by they are not using the willpower? Then he said, you see, if you use your willpower and say that this light should burn, it should burn. He just chatted at the upstairs. Immediately, the electric light, like this, it started burning. There was no one in the upstairs. Then he looked at me and winked and said, see, like this. And they said, good night. These are all small incidents, but still, he is manifesting so much before, a young boy, not to convince or something like that. These are such moments which may evoke laughter or the witty comments that he makes. There are so much to learn. As Babuji Maharaj said, you should read between the lines, in between the lines. Like that, Master used to say, Chariji Maharaj would say, even when the master jokes, there is a purpose behind it, there's a meaning behind it.
Brother, I have another 2 or 3 questions on my list. Are we okay with time?
No. Mine, I am not even 8 o'clock, but it is getting late for you. I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
No. But I think it's very interesting. But I had just another 2, 3 questions. So
No
if
problem.
it's
No
okay with
problem.
you, we will finish it.
No problem for me. Absolutely no problem for
Okay.
me.
Okay, this is another one. Chariji used to share so many stories with us. What was your favorite one? And in particular, any ghost stories?
Any?
Ghost stories.
Ghost. Okay. Of course, he has shared many, but Mommy has shared so many with me. But Chariji Maharaj used to say that he was always afraid of ghosts. Then he used to tell Babuji, whenever Babuji said, shall I bring the Brahma Rakshas before us? He said, no, Babuji, please spare me that experience. So he didn't want that. Once it so happened in Shahjahanpur during Basant Utsav, Babuji Maharaj told him, there are spirits here, ghosts here also. They occasionally come and experience the transmission and all that. When he was when he came back to the tent, and when late Rajabai, another great soul, Rajabai, Raja Gopalan, he was close to me, and he was narrating this. It was just midnight, and then he said, Rajabai, go to your tent. And then Rajabai said, no, please don't send me alone to my tent. It was in Shahjahanpur, all the tents were there, and Babuji was there, and everything. He said, no, I'm afraid of ghosts. He said, Chariji Maharaj said, no, why should you be afraid? Babuji said, if a ghost comes before you, say, I am Ramchandra's disciple, and see what happens. And then Rajabai told him, well, if a ghost comes before me, I won't even remember Babuji Maharaj. I will have only fear. Please don't send me. I will sleep with you today. And I mean, Chariji Maharaj narrated this to me. And then I told this to Rajabai once. Rajabai laughed and said, oh, Chariji shares all these things about me also to you. So like that, some ghosts used to visit Gayatri also, some spirit. Of course, Mami is full of such stories. And when Mami used to say, Chariji Maharaj used to say, spend your time usefully. Why are you doing research on all these things? Kannan, you should research something else, not on ghosts. Don't talk about it, he used to say. And are you afraid? Yes, I am afraid. So saying he'll go. He never encouraged me, at least me. Some people he did not encourage talking of ghosts, and he told me, don't talk about life after death. If anybody asks you, say, please tell, I don't know. Because in Crest and other places, I was constantly asked about it, and I used to say, sorry, I won't discuss. Because I can say Kathopanishad says like this place like this and all that. But Master told me not to talk about it because there are better things to talk about. So this is what he told me.
Next question. In your opinion, what was the most important message or instruction Chariji had received from Babu?
Instruction. Chariji Maharaj said his whole life was only service. He told me, I asked him once about one preceptor from Chennai, whom Babuji Maharaj was so raised him to central region. And Chariji Maharaj used to praise his reading capacity. If you want to know the position of any saint of the past or the present, any person for that matter, you ask him. That's what he used to say. But he fell down. He did not accept Chariji Maharaj. Enormous willpower. His sittings was full of willpower. Unlike Chariji Maharaj, it was very smooth, soft, full of love. That person, it was like walking. Nevertheless, you are walking towards the goal, or traveling in the path. But one person will take you in the path which is full of pebbles and other things. Other person takes you in a path full of petals and other things, like rose petals. That is master. He said there are two ways of approaching divinity. One through willpower, and secondly, it is through love. When you approach the divinity or the master through willpower, there is the possibility of ego. That's what he said. So the person may fall. But when it is through love, there is no question of ego. So Chariji Maharaj said, I have disagreed with my master on quite a few occasions, but I have never disobeyed him. The greatest teacher. You may not agree with the master's way of functioning. Sometimes he may be having some people next to him whom you may feel he is a cheat or crook or fraud or whatever it is, But he said, you may not agree with his statement. For example, some philosophical discussion or something like that. I may not agree, but Chariji Maharaj said, I have never disobeyed. Obedience. That is the greatest. So Babuji Maharaj, what he liked was, Chariji was not only loyal, faith and all that, the obedience. He had such a faith in the disciple for his obedience.
This is the last question I have, but it's quite connected to your answer that you gave to the last question. Similarly, have you had any disagreements or scoldings received from Chariji in your
Scoldings,
interaction?
fortunately, he didn't scold me many times. Because perhaps he felt I am too soft or I will not like it or something like that. And to my knowledge, he did not criticize or scold me. He has always supported me. Even any speech that I gave, he also supported me. On all the occasions, he always wanted me to speak. Sometimes he wanted to speak after him. Sometimes he wanted me to speak before him. But what did you ask? Not scolding. Something else you asked me?
No, there was any disagreements in the
Disagreement.
interactions that you
There
had?
were. For example,
I'm
we're
sure you
talking of yoga or something like that. Not disagreement. I felt his interpretation was not right or his quotation and all that. For example, one quotation from Patanjali Yoga Sutra and all that. And once or twice I said what you have written, that Dr. Vardachari said, is not right. He said, yes, Kannan, I agree with you. And sometimes in the book, the glossary and other things, or in the book, those days he used to give, when a book was published or about to be published, first he used to give me the first copy and said, I want you to read and I want your opinion. And the next day he will ask me, have you read the book? I am not like like him, no, very fast reader. And he told me when I was going through the book or I was correcting the script or something like that, Kannan, you have to be merciless. That's what he told me. When I am giving you a job, especially of editing, I am giving you the authority, so, and the power and the knowledge, three things. You have to be merciless. And I don't want you to, on another occasion, I mean, it may take 2-3 minutes. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, brother.
When he was about to leave for Europe, he was talking with a group of European Abhyasis from Europe. And in the evening, when I came to Gayatri, they had already typed it, and he wanted me to go through it and correct wherever some mistakes were there. And then I went through it, and I felt one was actually a mistake. Then I gave him all the papers. He was sitting in the veranda. I said, I have read it, sir. He said, have you read it completely? He said, yes, sir. Is there any mistake? I said, no, sir. He said, no. I want you to be, thorough. I said, yes, sir. I have gone through it thoroughly. There is no mistake. Then he said, now you see, I have talked about the sense organ and the mind Have you read it? He said, yes, sir. Okay. But I have said the mind is a motor organ. I mean, karmendriya, as we call it in Sanskrit. It is an instrument for action. He said, yes, sir, I read it. Is it right? I said, yes, sir, is it right? It is right. How can you say it is right? Then I told him, you see, in our philosophy, in some schools of philosophy, we believe the objects are there, and then the sense organs grasp the object, the eyes, the nose, the ears, the tongue, and the skin. That is the perceptible knowledge through the senses. And this mind has to be involved in it, otherwise you don't get the knowledge. And the mind reports to the soul. So mind is also active. Unless the mind is active, it will not receive it from the senses and it will not report it to the soul. So in the way, mind can also be said to be a sense organ. Motor organ. It is also a karmendriya. He said, Kannan, your interpretation is good, but you are only substantiating what I said, supporting what I said. I don't want you to do that. According to Indian philosophy, whether what I said is right or wrong, I want your opinion. I kept quiet. How can I say, Master, you are wrong? Then he asked, then he said, am I wrong? Yes, sir. I was so hesitant to say that. But I said, yes, sir. Then he said, good. I want only that from you. He said, you see, I am going to Europe. I'm going to give a lot of speeches. At that time, if I make a mistake like this, somebody would have read some Sanskrit or philosophy like you. He would say, what is this man? He is heading a spiritual organization, but he does not know the basic difference between the karmendriya and jnanendriya. That is the motor organ and the sense organ. I will get a bad name, not only for me, but for the mission and my master. I don't want that to happen. That's why I want your authoritative view. I don't want you to say yes to whatever I say. This is exactly what he did. So which master will say like that? Which guru will say like that?
I think we will close the session for today. We would like to humbly place our gratitude and thanks to
Don't say all these things.
so much for this invaluable time that you have spent in sharing all these wonderful moments with Charji Maharaj. I hope we will have many more occasions where we can listen to your wonderful experiences in the near future. Thank you so much.
It's my
Thank
pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining us also. To all our viewers, thank you and thanks for your patience. Thank you and good night. Namaste. Thank you, brother.